You know what's going to make you feel good walking off the golf course? Is shooting lower scores. How are you going to do that? By making birdies. But the truth is, the way that you navigate your way through the golf course, you're giving yourself basically no chance to do that. And I'm going to give you some simple decision-making tactics on how to go about making more birdies so you can get in the car and be happy rather than having that trunk slam. So the big question is this: how do passionate golfers like you and I develop a stock shot day in and day out? A stock shot that's as reliable as the sun coming up in the morning. That's the question, and this podcast is the answer. Welcome to Stock Shot Secrets. The question is, how do you make more birdies on the course? Because, listen, birdies are fun. But the truth is that when I find doing playing lessons with players that are flying into Columbus and they're trying to get better, the one thing that I notice amongst not so much like your scratch or your plus handicaps, but really in that handicap range of, let's say, the 10 to the 25, is that by and large, the strategy in which you play par fives and short par fours is too conservative. So what do I mean? There is some rules that you should live by as to whether or not you should go for it or not go for it. Now, if we were to look at just some stats, and I've got some stats here in front of me, of what the average 85 shooter, so the guy or the girl who shoots 85, what is the proximity to the hole that they hit it? And I've done some previous episodes on this because we were talking about quarter wedges and sawed-off shots and so on and so forth. But from 75 to 100 yards, the person who shoots 85 hits it on average 28 feet from the hole. If they are 100 to 125, they hit it 24 feet, so they actually hit it closer from 100 yards than they do 75 yards. And then from 125 to 150, 30 feet. So the problem is that if you then take those stats, so let's just say 24 and 28, and you take those stats and you say, okay, in a 4-round PGA Tour event, if a tour player makes more than one putt more than 20 feet, they are beating the field in strokes gained. So essentially, they will make one putt outside 20 feet for 4 rounds of golf, which is not that many, right? We see players on TV and they're like, oh my gosh, these guys make everything. No. You are seeing the guy who is putting lights out and is basically blacked out, and anything he hits, that dude could putt with a broomstick or a pool cue stick, and it would still go in. So that guy is just putting out of his mind. But on average, if they make one putt, they will make one putt for 4 rounds outside 20 feet, and 2, they're beating the field. So with that in mind, if you are going to be 100 yards and you're going to hit it 24 feet on average, chances are you're not going to make a birdie. So now, how is it that you can give your chance for more birdies? Well, there is a very strict rule to live by, and if there was one rule that I would love to share with you on this podcast, it's this. Hey, sorry for interrupting your podcast, but I want to give you a special opportunity to get better. Now, what do I mean is when I go to the golf course and I see players just like you, right? They're aimlessly hitting balls, trying to get better, and it's not their fault, but they're not really working on anything that's actually going to go about getting them better. Right? They're working on this, or they're working on flipping, or early extending, or not hitting it left, or not hitting it right. But there's not an actual plan of cause and effect of what it is that they really need to do to actually get better. So what I want to give you an opportunity for is what we call a new student swing assessment. Now, this is done online, and all you have to do is send us 2 videos of your swing. It's ridiculously easy, ridiculously simple, and after this, you're going to get a full, robust breakdown of your golf swing and what it is that you need to tackle first and foremost so that you can start building a better game tomorrow and, quite frankly, start building stock shots. So you can do this at thegolfroomeverywhere.com/NSA. That's for new student assessment, but NSA, and you can get this full breakdown and quite frankly, in record turnaround time. You could send it in right now and get it back in a few hours later and have a plan tonight as to what it is that you need to do to go about getting better. So we look forward to seeing your swing, and now back to the podcast. If you can hit it within 30 yards of the pin, you always go for it, no matter if it's a par 4 and a short par 4 or a par 5. Now, the only outlier to that of whether or not you would do that is if there is less than 40 yards between like pinching hazards, right? So what I mean by that is if you had water on like the right side of the green and then water on the left side of the green, or OB on the left, or whatever. So if there's penalty hazards that actually, if you were to hit into it, it would cause a penalty, then that would give you reason to lay up. And then if you have to lay up, there's one question you follow it up with, is you say, what is my favorite yardage? So now, if you're on a par 5, and let's just say you hit your 3-wood 210, and you're in the fairway and you're 235, the question you're going to say is like, can I get it within 30 yards of the pin? The answer is yes. If you can hit it, if you're 245, the answer is no. So now if you're 245 out, you can't hit it within 30 yards of the pin. So you say, what is my favorite yardage? You go, my favorite yardage is 80. Do not say your favorite yardage is like 145. Like, you cannot have your 7-iron be your favorite yardage. It needs to be like a wedge. So now, if you know your favorite yardage, what yardage do you think you should practice each and every time you go to the range? Your favorite yardage. So now, if you're hitting it in the trees, guess what yardage you punch out to? Your favorite yardage. If you have to lay up on a par 5, what yardage did you lay up to? Your favorite yardage. And then that becomes the bedrock of like, you go, man, if I hit it to 85 yards, I know that I can hit that close, and I know I can maybe either A, make a birdie, or B, save it for par if I got stuck in the trees. But you should all have a favorite yardage that you want to hit. But by and large, what I see is that 1, players don't have a favorite yardage, and 2, they play too conservative and give up too much opportunity, because on those par 5s, that's where you're going to make your money. That's where you're going to make your birdies. And I'm not saying you need, you've heard me saying time and time again, so I don't want to talk out of both sides of my mouth. Golf is, and for who is listening, golf is a matter of eliminating bogeys and doubles. But let's not get confused. Making birdies is fun, and if you can make more birdies, you can shoot lower scores. So that's the one kicker that I want you to leave with today, is if you can hit it within 30 yards of the pin, you go for it. If you can't, you just ask yourself, what's my favorite yardage? Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys back here for another episode of Stock Shot Secrets. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to the latest episode of the Stock Shot Secrets. Now, I want to give you a special opportunity where you and I can chat individually by just simply texting the following number, and you can ask any question under the sun about anything relative to your game or your skill, body, mind, whatever it is. So just text me at 614-541-1988. That's 614-541-1988. Subscribe to our text line, and then you can be in the special Stock Shot community where we can talk about everything under the sun regarding stock shots.